Hello, hello, Mr. Stuff.
Hey, Josh, how are you today?
Good, good. How are you?
Good. Happy Wednesday to you.
Yep, happy Wednesday. It is rainy and dreary, but
All right.
it's a
Okay.
it's a good one. I like the weather.
I'll take it.
My
How are classes going?
classes are going great so far. Let me think. We kind of made it through the first test week, so that's pretty good. It's about lands on week 4, so I'm past that. But other than that, I'm doing as well as I can be, I suppose.
Good. Hey, do you need me to run the PowerPoint, or are you able to bring it up and share your screen?
Yes, I can share my screen.
Okay.
However, if whichever you think is easier, because we can just give you the privilege to put it on there and control yourself.
No, you go for it.
Alrighty,
Easier. That way you
alrighty.
have control of your meeting.
Well, I don't think you'll try to come in here and take it from me, but I'll do that. But we're gonna have we're still waiting on quite a few people, and it is a bit earlier.
Right.
So
Right.
The thing with Zoom is you can be almost anywhere and get to the meeting on time as long as your device is on. So
Agreed. So you had how many 15, 18 senators elected last week?
that's I'd have to pull up the roster because it changes so often. We had about 15, I think, elected, and we had one student who was appointed who went through another way because he did not go through the process in time, but he'll be here as well. But overall, I think today we should have about 24 people in here, the different things. So let me pull up mine. I'll go ahead and have yours up if that's fine. And then, I didn't have it in presentation view. There we go. And let me slide it around just a second so we can do, I'm sorry, I'm not exactly sure how to word this right here. So, well, I know this part. So I guess because it is 5:32 for me, we'll go ahead and call this to order. And if we can have Secretary Stabenow please dispense the first roll call.
Hey guys, can you guys hear me all right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yes.
so we're gonna start. President Menhanet,
Here.
Hannah Cooper,
Here.
Vice President Cooper,
Here.
Treasurer Long,
Here.
Parliamentarian Ray,
Here.
Senator Lamberti, Senator Nepal, Senator Forrest,
Here.
awesome, Senator Adams, Senator Jennings,
Here.
Senator Rodriguez,
Here.
Senator Goodson,
Here.
Senator Boardman,
Here.
Senator Wingate, Senator Williams,
Here.
Senator Benitez, Senator Foote,
Here.
Senator Botter,
Here.
Senator Karn,
Here.
Senator Medlin, Senator Bookman, Senator Watkins,
Here.
Senator Mattern,
Here.
Senator Kinsey,
Here.
Senator Holguin,
Here.
and Senator Govea. All right, and is there anybody's name that I did not call? All right, hearing none. There's first roll call, you guys.
Alrighty. Thank you, Jennifer. And there's a couple people that should be filing it just because apparently the code wasn't working for some reason. So if they come in and you happen to notice them, if you can mark them, please, just because of that reason. So we'll go ahead and get started. I do not think there's anyone here for open forum. Is anyone here for open forum? I'm not seeing any. So we'll get right on to the really fun part. As you guys have seen on my screen, we have a very, very special, a very awesome guest that we always have around and is always here to serve us. Jerry Stuff is here today. He is I'll try to say the title right, so I'm very sorry, COO of the school and the university here, and he'll be able to elaborate on his title. I'll allow him to do that because I know there's something that I'll mess up of it. But without any further ado, Jerry's here to present to us a little about what he does, a little of the questions that we have, and if we do have any questions, we'll try to field those in the best possible way whenever he would allow us to do that.
Absolutely. Thank you, President Menhennet. And thank you, SGA, for the gracious invitation to join you this evening. As Josh indicated, my name is Jerry Stuff. I serve UT Tyler as the Vice President of the Division of Operations and Strategic Initiatives, the Chief Operations Officer. That's a big, long title with a bunch of words. Hopefully what I'd like to do with your time, your valuable time this evening, is spend just a couple minutes to give you a briefing, an overview of the Division of Operations and Strategic Initiatives, give you some insight on who we are, what we do, who the team players are, so that if you see us out and about on campus, you'll have a better understanding of this particular division within the entire larger picture of UT Tyler. Before I get started though, I would like to ask if anybody has any specific subject matters they'd like me to attempt to address as I go through. Josh had mentioned parking fees and that whole process, and I'll mention that as we move through. But if there are other subject matters, just go ahead and voice them out, and I'll see if I can address them as we go through.
Mr. Stuff.
Sounded like somebody had something, but I don't hear it.
Oh, Mr. Stuff, can you hear me?
I think it's Senator Watkins, I believe. Adam, if you have a microphone or whatever it is you're speaking to, if you bring it a little closer to your mouth, that's fine.
Is this better?
What was that? Can you say that again?
I'm gonna write it in the chat.
Okay, that might work. I think he's gonna write in the chat, Jerry.
Okay, I will move my chat box over here and enlarge it. So yeah, if anybody has anything, please don't hesitate. Go ahead, type it in. Oh, got too many windows open. Let me get, go ahead and type it. And that's fine. Sorry about the microphone, not a problem, Adam, but if you want to go ahead and type it in, if you've got a question, let me know. If not, we'll keep monitoring. And Josh, if you could help monitor the chat box, that would be great. So let's go ahead, skip down next slide, please.
Let me see if I can do this. There we go.
Okay, and Adam, I got your question about sidewalk between Liberty Landing and Victory Village, and I can do that. We will address that. So as the slide, nope, back one.
Okay, sorry.
That's okay. As we were describing, we were, as a division, created September 1st of 2018. So we just celebrated our second birthday. And if you think about the terrible twos, as you're raising children, That's the kind of year it's kind of been for us as 2-year-olds. We started our first year because we were newly assembled. The folks on our team came from different areas and were kind of bunched together into what was created as a new division. So the first year, from September 1st of 18 to September 1st of 19, we took that year just to kind of get to know each other, to find out who we are, who our team players are, what everybody else does, to basically understand, have a better understanding of who's on our team and what their roles and responsibilities are. So after that, we met for our first annual meeting in September of 19, and we decided at that time that we had a pretty good understanding of our team players, who we were, and we decided to adopt what you see on the screen. This is our inspiration moving forward from September 1st of 2019 to today, and we're going to carry it through September 1st of 2021. We are one team. We were a band of different departments. We've now come together, and the meaning of the one team is really something that we've developed in terms of a concept of multipliers, that rather than a team of 7 silos, we're a team of some 90 members, each able to cross over out of silos into another to help one another. So that is the concept of one team. Next slide, please, Josh. Just so you get an idea, this was the photo taken at our first annual meeting, August 7th of 2019. This is the team. This is most of the team. There were some folks missing that day. We're a team of about 90 on the campus from a variety of groups. But just to give you an idea of who we are and some of the names and faces, this is who we are, picture taken on Souls College of Business. Next slide, please. So this is our leadership team. So you've got myself as the COO, and then these are the folks that comprise the leadership of Division of Operations Strategic Initiatives. We have our Chief of Police, Chief of University Police, Mike Metters. He is a wonderful person. He is amazingly talented, has assembled a phenomenal university police team, well-trained, well-executed, and we're going to share with you all of the details, backgrounds of each organizational chart for each one of these groups. But I think it's important for the SGA to know, here are your key go-to players, the team members for each one of the departments within the division. So our wonderful and fabulous Chief of Police, Mike Metters. Next is Mrs. Paula Tate. She is the director of our Environmental Health and Safety team. To give you a little bit of background, environmental health and safety looks at every aspect of those 3 subjects on campus. Environmentally, stormwater management, our lakes, our hazardous waste that is generated in our laboratories, our hydronic fluid in elevators, transmission fluid leaked from our cars into parking lots. Imagine anything environmentally that could happen on campus. Her team's responsible. Health. She has a big part in what we're doing with the response to COVID-19 and looking at what we do with health issues, health challenges, making sure the air we breathe, the water we drink in our buildings is safe. And then safety. She is responsible. They do safety checks through all the laboratories. They're responsible for tornado drills, for all of the crises that may take place, fire drills, make sure our fire alarm systems are working, make sure the emergency lights are working. It's a huge team. It's a small team, but a huge responsibility for those 3 areas, environmental health and safety, across the entire campus. Next is Mr. Chris Green, Director of Information Security. I don't know how many of you realize that since COVID-19, we have seen a dramatic increase in the amount of and quantity of digital attacks on the university, to all of our emails, trying to get to our data, trying to get to research, trying to get to all sorts of subjects. The duo authentication that Chris Green talked to the SGA about last year, and I think the implementation is coming later, either December of 2020 or in 2021, to help protect students' emails. Same thing that we go through as faculty and staff of duo authentication to get into programs. It's like belts and suspenders for your digital safety. And so he's responsible for that. They're responsible when you hit, I think this is a phishing attack. It goes to this team and they investigate and they send out the notices saying, hey, if you see an email coming that says, hey, your mailbox is full, you need to contact and give us this information and we'll update it. Don't do it. Hit the phishing button and they'll take care of it. They keep us safe in the digital world. Next person, Mr. Andy Kraus, Director of Facilities Management. Andy is responsible for all the physical assets on campus, the grounds, the buildings, every aspect. Is it hot? Is it cold? Is it leaking water? Is it watertight? Every aspect of the campus facilities related comes into Andy Kraus's department. Becky McAfee. Becky is our Administrative Services Officer, and a lot of times you won't see her a lot. She works out of our physical plant building down by Patriot Drive. But she and her team process thousands of financial transactions that support all the contractors, all the contracts, purchases, all of the light bulbs, all of the belts, all of the paper towels, trash cans, picnic benches. Any of the things you see on campus have to be purchased. They all go through her operation. If new folks come on campus, the ability to get a key, where we still use keys as opposed to security access wipe, all of the keys and faculty and staff and students who have to go down to physical plant to pick up a key go through her office, go through her operation. Then Ms. Dina King, Chief Compliance Officer. To give you a little bit of insight of what a compliance program and a compliance officer does. Think of all of the federal laws in the United States that all of us are obligated to abide by. There are special laws related to education and universities that have been passed. When you think about Title IX, with discrimination and civil rights and sexual discrimination or attacks, there are a host of federal laws, state laws. The state of Texas has laws on top of that. Then on top of that, the Board of Regents for the University of Texas have what are called Regents rules. That's yet another set of rules and regulations that the university has put in place that says thou shalt abide by. And then the University of Texas at Tyler has a set of regulations and policies on top of all that. And those are never in conflict with the federal, state, or Regents rules. They're supplemental to that, but it adds even more specific rules and regulations that relate specifically to UT Tyler. Okay, you got all those rules, you got all those laws, you got all those regulations, you got all the policies. Well, what good are they if nobody follows them? The responsibility of a chief compliance officer is to put programs in place for checks and balances to ensure that, yes, the president, the cabinet, chairs, faculty, division leaders, departmental leaders, and students follow those rules and regulations and make sure they are applied fairly and that we are actually following up and someone is watching and checking to make certain that we are abiding by all those rules, laws, regulations. It's a big job. She's not a policing person. It's actually compliance is the responsibility of every single one of us. Everyone on this call has a responsibility to make sure we're compliant and that those around us in our organization are compliant with those laws, regulations. And she's developing programs like that to get this out wider and wider. And the better she does her job of getting us compliant, the better we're going to be for honesty, integrity in our organization. And we're doing very well. We've got more to do. It can be daunting, and our goal is to make it easy. We want to make compliance as easy as possible for everyone on the UT Tyler campus. It shouldn't be a challenge. It should be made easier. Next person, Rex Brown, Capital Planning Project Manager. Rex came to us from the UT system, the Office of Facility Planning, Capital Planning, and that department was done away with back in 2019, and we were fortunate to hire Rex. He had been with them 10, 12 years. He came to us and joined us December 2nd of 2019. Years of experience looking at capital planning. Now, capital planning you might think is financial. How are we going to spend our money? That is not that. That is in Dr. Laird's budget and finance group. Capital planning in this component has to do with sidewalks from Liberty Landing to Victory Village, to new nursing buildings, to renovations of CAS, to library, ADA bathrooms, to new Souls College of Businesses. It's all of the type of building and construction that goes on. He is responsible for working with the UT system team. He is our representative to that group to work on making sure we get our every dollar's worth of those construction dollars. And then last but not least, Mrs. Lisa Wyatt is our Senior Administrative Associate. She is here in this office in Stewart Hall in 336. She serves two vice presidents. She serves me as well as Dr. Kim Laird, our CFO, in trying to keep the two of us on time where we're supposed to be and keep us acting straight. when we mess up, she straightens us up and gets us back on task where we're supposed to be. She does all the administrative coordination for two vice presidents. So she's a busy person. All right, next slide, Josh. That's our leadership team. Now we're going to go into how this organized and how this particular division of operations relates into the bigger picture of the university. So this org chart shows, obviously, President Dr. Michael Tidwell is president of the university. I report directly to him as a cabinet member. And then you'll see the administrative team we just talked about. To my right is Lisa Wyatt, our senior administrative associate. And then below are the directors we talked about. And you'll notice that there's Andy Krause, Rex Brown, Becky, Chief Metters. Then coming up the left-hand side, Director Paula Tate, Director Chris Green, and Chief Compliance Officer Dina King. That's our team. This is how we relate. These are the silos. If we're going to put in silos, these are the silos. But we don't work in silos. We work across each one of these to help one another out. But you'll notice the three dotted lines. It's important for you to understand that there is accountability for me in this situation. Yes, Dina King, Chris Green, Paula Tate report to me. But if they're not happy with what they believe is my response or my reaction or my directive in a matter, if I'm trying to commit fraud, if they think I'm breaking a law, if they think I'm up to some type of mischief for some reason, they have a dotted line directly to President Tidwell. That's the check and balance. They can go directly to President Tidwell and say, hey, we got a situation where Jerry is embezzling millions of dollars from the university and you need to know about this. They have the ability to go and report it. So there are checks and balances in this. But that's how our division is organized. But org charts can be confining. I mean, really, it looks like, here we've got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 silos. I don't want you to think of it that way. I want you to think of it, yeah, these are our leaders. But if you can imagine, there's a lot of movement back and forth between each one of these. We've got folks in Paula Tate's EH&S group helping out Chief Metters right now with the COVID hotline reporting. We've got someone from Andy Krause's team running the volunteer effort in the COVID-19 response. We've got folks from Chris Green's area helping Rex Brown with some data and some information going back and forth within capital projects between the system, a contractor, and a project manager. This is all going back and forth. And then you got Dina helping us all out, trying to keep us straight, make sure we're all compliant. All right, next slide, please, Josh. And I'll go a little bit quicker because now that you've kind of seen how it works, there are several slides here with our university police. And I want you all to realize we are so blessed and so fortunate to have Chief Mike Metters here. He has assembled a phenomenal team. It is a very diverse team, both in gender, in race, in every aspect you'd like to talk about. But there's another factor we don't talk about. I meet with each one of the folks that you're going to see on these screens once a year. These are some of the most well-trained folks in the entire system. They have trained in event de-escalation. They have trained in active shooter. They have trained in emergency response. These are the folks that are keeping all of us safe. Now, you might think, well, we live in Tyler, we live kind of in this island of peace. Folks, there's a lot going on in our community, and I don't know how much you realize actually goes on around us in our community. Last year, we had an active shooter. We had someone leaving Victory Village with a gun and shooting. And our Sergeant Olympia Morales gave that individual chase until they ran out and went in away. That individual was actually killed in Dallas 2 weeks later. That's how violent, person that can happen on our campus. This is the team that when we all run to safety, they're running in to protect us. So just briefly give you an organization here. Chief Metters, you've got the Administrative Association, Jonna Darby. We have an Assistant Chief, Grace Coleman. She is phenomenal, came to join us just a year or two ago. And then Jordan Ratliff, Parking and Transportation. Reporting to Grace Coleman are Sergeant Beverly Kennedy, Sergeant Olympia Morales. We have an Officer 3, Don Myers, Randall Duke, who is our emergency manager, Robert Burgett, property and evidence team for all there's a evidence room where property and evidence is kept. And then Deborah Blaine, our communications manager. Deborah runs our, I forgot the name, our not incident response, our the operations, it's 24/7 call center, 24/7, 365. Whenever we call in the emergency number, it goes to her staff over in USC. That is operational 24/7, 365. I'll get in a little bit more detail, but while we're here with Jordan Ratliff, I just wanted to talk about parking and transportation. Jordan is responsible for a brand new system that we implemented last year called T2. So if you wonder where your parking fees go every year, part of them last year went to the purchase of this software program called T2. It is an automated parking permit system. Before, it was a manual process. Parking permits came in. Jordan took one permit, one request, paired them up. You went to pay, you brought your receipt to USC, and you picked up your parking permit. That is now all automated. And the T2 parking permit system does all of that behind the scenes. Parking permits are issued automatically. And that's what then creates the traffic record for each one of us in the police operations. Similarly, our parking fees go to, if you look around campus, right now our asphalt's getting pretty old. It's been overlaid twice. It needs to be scraped and redone. We're actually 2 or 3 years late in doing that because we haven't had enough dollars. And I can kill 2 birds with 1 stone with this. Adam's question about sidewalk between Liberty Landing and Victory Village. It's not doing the whole thing because we don't have enough in parking reserves right now. But the, what is it, some $140,000 sidewalk that will go from Patriot Plaza at Alumni House out along what is the temporary construction road to Old Omen, where a relocated Hawk Light is going to be located. Our parking fees are being tapped to pay for that sidewalk project. So if we had enough in there, there's an entire plan for a, what was it, 232 parking space parking garage south of Liberty Landing with a sidewalk between existing parking and this new that would connect all the way across the southern border of Liberty Landing, come out to the east end, and then come down the edge of that wooded property out to University Boulevard, and then along University Boulevard that would tie to Victory Village. We simply don't have enough fees in the parking reserves right now to do all that. But that's how those fees are spent. It's in direct support of capital projects that relate to public safety, parking, transportation, sidewalks. So hopefully that helps out. And we can circle back with more detailed questions about Liberty Landing and Victory Village sidewalk. So that's the heart of the leadership of the University Police. Next slide. These are all of our fantastic officers and PSOs, our guards. So you got Chief Metters, you got Grace Coleman, our great assistant chief. You've got our two sergeants, Beverly Kennedy, Olympia Morales. And keep in mind, these folks are on different shifts. Police run 3 shifts. So Olympia is on day shift, Beverly is on night shift. You may never see Beverly. She's here at nights. She's roaming the campuses. They're out on patrols, but she manages it. But then if you go down left-hand side are most of our officers, Bobby Hudson, Chris Branton, who is at Palestine, Brad Williams is here, Renee Gwynn is here, Michael Marcano is here, Ben Young is here, Jack Lanier is here, Joe Giebler is here. I'm going to stop real quick and comment on Joe Giebler. It may not mean a lot to you, but we had a life-saving event this summer. Joe Giebler was on duty and Deborah Blaine's dispatch had a call come in to the City of Tyler Police that there was a 5-year-old drowning in the woods south of campus this summer. And Joe Giebler happened to be at the Alumni House. He immediately left campus, went over and got to this private residence. Someone who was working on CPR. Child was not breathing, was turning blue. Joe used his training, provided CPR, got the child breathing again. It took 6 minutes for emergency management to arrive. So in those 6 minutes, Joe Giebler did what he was trained to do, ran into danger, saved this child. This 5-year-old lived, has gotten out of the Children's Hospital in Dallas, and she gets to go to kindergarten. That's what we're all about. That is what our team does. And we're so proud of Joe and the 2 dispatchers, Cheyenne and Beth, for what they did. We've got a little girl who gets to go to kindergarten because of what they've trained and what they did. Is that our responsibility? No, but that's what we do and in our community. So I just wanted to brag on Joe a little bit. Darren Robinson's on our Longview campus. So you can see for our senators from Longview and Palestine, we've got officers located there as well. And then we get into our public safety officers. These are the guards who are out and about, who have different duties, locking, unlocking, providing security across campus. You'll see them on the beat. You'll see them walking the campus. Chris, Cody, Mitch is new to us. Joe is just a year in. Jeff Williams has been with us quite a while. John Gundy is new. Frank is new to us. Darren, Brandon Perez, Matt Graham, Lauren Simmons, and Elazar Cortez are new. These are phenomenal people. I encourage you, when you see them out and about, they are in the beige shirts, please stop, say hello to them, introduce yourselves, because in an emergency, they're the ones who are going to be running in, giving us direction of where to go, what to do, and how to do. And the more you know them and trust them and have that familiarity, the better. Next slide, Josh. This is our Communications Operations Center that I was just mentioning. Chief Metters, Grace, Deborah Blaine, who's done a phenomenal job at transitioning and advancing our call center 24/7, 365. Amber Weidman, Nadine Osborne, Beth Perez, Cheyenne Fairchild, William Sawyer. Beth and Cheyenne were the two that were on duty when the call came in from the city, and they just happened to hear it. And they're the ones who called Joe Giebler and said, Joe, get going, help this 5-year-old out. And they are located in USC on Varsity Drive, University Services Center. When you go over there to pick up your parking permit, this is a room back behind. It's a hardened box. So that if we have tornadoes or other events, that space is going to survive and keep us operational. Next slide, please. Division of Operations, Environmental Health and Safety, I talked about, Director Paula Tate. Paula has 4 individuals, Brandy Ballard, Joshua Smith, Tyler Schmidt, and Chris Friedland as safety specialists. These are the folks that are out and about. We also have probably 4 or 5 student worker employees that if you see someone out with a stick poking a light fixture, testing something or testing one of our fire alarms, that's their job. We have a monthly responsibility to make sure our emergency lights, fire alarm systems are all working. That's why we do fire drills once a year, to make sure in an emergency, everything is operational and works. And then Kim Stapp is our wonderful administrative assistant too in that group to keep everybody working. All right, next slide, please. Information security, Chris Green's work group, small group, but powerful group. Mona Claiborne, Matt Izzard. Matt came to us from the IT team in support services. He transferred over about a year ago. These 3 are amazing of what they're doing. When we look at the, what is the screening proof point that goes through every morning, looking at, what's coming through, what are the hackers trying to do? What are they trying to get to, and put preventative measures in place. Tremendous team. Next slide, please. Administrative support. This is Becky McAfee's group, the ones handling all of the financial purchase orders from everything. You talk about every light bulb, every faucet, every door stop, every door handle, every door, every window, light shade, anything that comes through, chairs, desks, anything, come through purchase orders, the financial responsibility. She has Shelby Carter and Leslie Decker working in those teams. They are down in the physical plant building, down on Patriot Drive, do a phenomenal drive. And then Lisa Wyatt, our senior administrative associate, I mentioned, serving both, working with me and Dr. Laird, our CFO. Next slide, please. This now gets into facilities management. Andy Krause's team, supported by Jared Sexton, his senior administrative associate, in support of all of the activities going on. And then with Andy, he has a core team of 6 folks. Ricky Clark, been with the university a long time, 20 plus years, maintenance manager. So anything out there in terms of operations and maintenance, we don't have a coal burning plant that produces power. We buy electricity and gas, and we run, I don't know if you realize it, we have 2 utility plants on campus that take power and gas and transform it into hot and cold water. That hot and cold water is circulated in a loop around campus underground that go to air handlers in buildings. That's what provides heating and air conditioning in those buildings. There are North Plant, if the building right next to RBN and RBS to the left, to the west, that is the North Utility Plant. The building attached to PHE, between PHE and Ornelas Hall, there is the South Utility Plant there. If you look up, you'll see a mist coming out of the top of the buildings. There are chillers and boilers in that building, and evaporation units on top of the roof. That is what is providing the heating and cooling in all of our facilities. That is all Ricky's responsibility to make sure all of that is operating daily. Bonnie Davis, our energy manager, is responsible for overseeing all of the energy use. And it's one of the largest budgets on campus. Some $2 million is spent annually on buying that electricity and that gas and water bill. And I would like to announce, it's not official, but in her spare time, I'm thrilled with this. Bonnie is an environmentalist, and she has been working on a recycling program, and we're getting really close to being able to discuss a possible recycling program on the UT Tyler campus. The hangups have been the inability to have a provider that we can ship recycled material to. We've made progress in that area, and so I hope to be able to bring to SGA in the coming 12 months a brand new recycling program for our campus. It's something we have tried to do for years, and we're finally getting closer, and that's thanks to the hard work by Bonnie Davis. Paige Chapman, the mail always goes through rain, shine, sleet, snow. He is the one who manages all the If you've ever been down to physical plant, there are thousands of packages, especially the big green boxes from Club Colors with all the t-shirts. All of those come down there. Plus, there is still snail mail. Besides all the technology we're using, there are still email or mail delivery. They're responsible for distributing that mail all across campus. Thomas Pinkerton. Thomas has been with the university, I want to say it's now 35 years. He started as a 12-year-old here. He is the assistant director of facilities management for Andy and runs a lot of the in-house type construction work and renovation work that goes on. And you'll see his team. Rich Legler is responsible custodial manager. He is the person responsible for overseeing SSC, who is our janitorial service. All of that is outsourced. Those folks are SSC employees that you see with the blue shirts. They are not UT Tyler employees, but he has the responsibility to lead, manage, and oversee them to make sure that SSC is providing the level of service that we have contracted for. He also the support for events. When you see the blue shirts, SSC personnel setting up tables, chairs, and other things, that's his responsibility to oversee that group. And then vacant, currently our grounds manager, many of you may remember from last year, Terry Rame has accepted a new position within our organization. We created a second shift. Terry took the lead of that. And so we interviewed yesterday 3 candidates for our grounds manager, responsible for everything you see exterior. Our parking lots, our grass, our trees, our flowers, what this beautiful state park. I always say UT Tyler's, going to UT Tyler is like attending a university in a state park, keeping that environment pristine and beautiful for us. And the lakes, trying to keep the lakes managed. We put fish in last year that are supposed to help eat the algae, and we think, unfortunately, some of them have been caught and they're no longer in the lake, so we're going to try to buy some more fish and keep that going. So we're looking for a natural way to be able to keep the algae out of our 2 beautiful lakes. So that is Andy's direct leadership team. Next slide. So then I mentioned Ricky Clark, maintenance manager. He has 3 direct managers, lead maintenance workers: Jake Chavez, Jimmy Spanko, Terry Rame. Here, Terry Rame is the second shift that we just added. So there is presence on campus from 2:30 to 11 p.m. every night. But Jake has Manny, Casey, Jeff, Russell, and a vacant position in his team. Jimmy has Alan, Walter, Michael, and a vacant position in his team. Terry on second shift has Daniel and Terrence. Now, Terrence was part-time with University Academies and had worked with us when a position came up. He applied and he advanced. He is now our maintenance 1 worker on 3rd shift, and we're thrilled. He's now with us full-time, so we're thrilled. And then we have a vacant maintenance worker 2. But then we also have some specialties. Steve Foreman is our energy management technician. Well, all the heating and cooling just doesn't happen. There is a Siemens control system across the entire campus that makes sure everything is hot and cold and working properly. That's what Steve does. Jerry Tomlin, maintenance worker 2, is the one helping Steve and then also monitoring all the calls that come in and say, hey, I'm too hot, I'm too cold, can you adjust it 1 degree up or down? Jerry's doing that on a daily basis. Tyson Hughes, one of the great folks on our entire team, maintenance worker 3. Tyson is the one responsible for all of the access codes and automated doors and keeps the database and grants everybody access. to that, as well as we still use actual keys. He actually is our hardware specialist and installs locks, hardware, doors, and cuts keys for those when we're still manual using a key. All right, next one. This is Thomas Pinkerton's group doing a lot. You know, we replaced all of the exterior light. If you haven't noticed, at night now, the campus doesn't look orange. We've replaced all of the exterior lights with new LEDs that are a bright daylight white, which we think helps, one, the campus look better, but it also gives better safety security, brighter light, and makes our campus safer. That's this team that works at that and does all of that. So John Thorne, who has a specialty in electrical, and John actually teaches off campus at the Union Shop electrical shop, is training electrical tradesmen on his off time. Scott Murphy, project coordinator, Jody Davis, electrician 2, and Michael McFarland, HVAC technician. Michael does a lot of our HVAC, heating, ventilation, air conditioning repairs, and a lot of the plumbing repairs. The Met is always having breakdowns of dishwashers and fryers and kitchen equipment. Michael is the one running in. Either he or he brings people in to help repair that. They do a lot of projects across campus. All right, next slide. Okay, yeah, I got a couple more groups to go. All right, mail services. So you got Paige. We have a vacant position to help Paige with distribution of mail. And grounds, because Terry moved over, you see the vacant grounds manager position. Right now, Andy is carrying the weight of all of that. And the grounds contract is provided out of house by EnviroCare. They are the ones you see coming to campus that are always mowing and weed whacking and pruning, keeping the campus cleaned up. Custodial, as I mentioned, Rich Legler is responsible for that, as well as events and service solution, SSE service solution contract, provide those services. Next one. Last two. Compliance, Dina King. Now you think we're a big organization, a lot of people, okay, we're a one-woman shop. Right now, Dina King is flying solo, doing all of this work by herself, but she is phenomenal. She has brought what I call compliance 2.0. We were void of a compliance for 2.5 years. We had no compliance going on. She has come in and brought a brand new compliance program and has advanced us at record speed, back to a point where we've got a program and it's working. So we're thrilled to have her here. And then capital planning, I mentioned Rex Brown. Again, you think it's a big team running $60 million construction projects, you know, 10 million, 2 million, whatever they are. No, between Rex and I, the two of us handle all of those construction projects and make sure everything's moving. I think that's the last org chart, but next one, Josh. Okay, where do we fit in? This is, I hope you've seen this before. This is a graphic regarding the strategic plan and the 4 columns: student success, student engagement, research scholarship, community engagement. I should mention, okay, I'm a licensed architect. 40 years now have practiced architecture, licensed in the state of Illinois, Indiana. I find it interesting that the University of Tyler picked this Gothic temple as our iconic symbol of our strategic plan. I relate to it, okay? You got the 4 columns, you got the pediment, there's UT Tyler in the pediment. These 4 strategic columns support this overall pediment that is UT Tyler, educational and economic driver of East Texas. But you notice on the bottom horizontal, to every building there is a strong foundation if the building is going to stand. So underneath a strategic plan is a very strong foundation. Now, you know, the focus of the university is education and research. Now, as much as I would like to be the center of attention in every aspect of every day of this campus, we're not. We are behind the scenes. Foundations are underground. You notice you don't see the foundations on campus. They're underground. They're buried 6 feet, some are 20 feet down. But I guarantee you that those foundations have to be firm and have to be poured deep and strong to support that structure of these four categories of the strategic plan and the entire University of Texas at Tyler. And that's how we look at ourselves. We are providing service, the Division of Operations. You may not see us, but please know we're there. We may be underground, hopefully not 6 foot under, but we're underground at providing a strong foundation for you, the students, the staff and faculty to build a great university on. All right, next slide is our mission statement, and then I'll be done. Okay, so you know where we're coming from. And I share this with you because this is probably one of the most endearing properties of who we are. I'm going to read it to you. As stewards of the built, natural, and digital environments for the University of Texas at Tyler, our mission is to program, plan, construct, operate, assess, and maintain safe, secure, compliant, and contemporary environments to provide our students, faculty, and staff the opportunity to advance education and research, and this is where you all come in, and to create the next generation of leaders. Yeah, we're here to educate. Yeah, we're here to research. But deep down in my heart, we're here to create. I'm 60 years old. We're investing in you. You are our greatest hope. Besides being here to get an education and conduct research, we hope you become better citizens. We hope serving on SGA, you become our future leaders that are going to go from here and go out into our communities and take your leadership skills to make a better United States, a better world for all of us. You'll notice the word stewards is highlighted in this. If you know what a steward is, a property owner or an owner or someone has great assets, and they will entrust those assets to their stewards. In this case, we're talking about millions of dollars of infrastructure, of buildings, infrastructure. We're talking millions of dollars of land value. We're talking something you can't put a price on. Your mothers and fathers have sent you here to get an education. We take very seriously your safety. I'm a dad. I've got 24-year-old twin daughters. When they went to college, their safety, their security were a prime concern to my wife and I. We have an obligation. Your parents are entrusting you to us when you're here to protect you, to keep you safe, to keep you healthy. We take that seriously. So we are stewards. We are servant leaders. We serve you. We serve your parents. We serve the faculty and staff to do our very best to keep everybody safe. So to that point, I think I've got one more slide, Josh. I want to share this with you, and we have something called an incident response team. This is in my division. This is a team led by our chief of police, Mike Metters. He is the commander of the incident response team, Mike Metters. This is a group of individuals, team from UT Tyler. We pulled the trigger on implementation of the incident response team on March 16th of 2020. That's when you all were on spring break. We immediately had to shift in our response to COVID-19. We immediately shifted. You know, I think people may have thought, oh, well, you know, the cabinet, everybody just took off for 3 months. We were vacationing somewhere and doing something. We have been here every day. I am so proud of this team. These people have their daily jobs assigned to them. They have all accepted the call to serve on the incident response team, the IRT. There have been sometimes meetings every day. There have been weeks where there are 3 meetings a week. There are times where it's 1 meeting a week. But they have been responsible since March 16th of keeping all of us safe. We will never know the number of lives that have been saved because of this. Putting policy in place, putting procedures in place, talking about quarantining, talking about isolating, putting policy in place. You know, none of us wanted to say, okay, after spring break, everybody go online. Think of what the faculty went through trying to convert courses that they love teaching face-to-face to all of a sudden say, hey, no one's coming back face-to-face. You have to take all of your educational material and convert it to online. Coming back in August, we worked all summer to update classrooms so that there were cameras and speakers and microphones and hand wipes and hand sanitizer and trash cans to throw the wipes in and processes and signage. All of that was being done by this team. Now, the people in dark blue are part of my team: Grace Coleman, Randall Duke, Andy Kraus, Paula Tate, Brandy Ballard. But please I hope you'll recognize some of the other names. These people have come from other divisions. So when you think about breaking down silos, there are folks here from student success, they're from finance, from IT, from HR, from every unit across the university. So Jenny Waters, Tammy, Beverly, Andrew Petit, Rick Helfers is faculty, Kathleen Helgenson, Dr. Helfers and Dr. Helgenson are faculty in this. Andy Cage is from athletics, Eric Figueroa, David Burton, Paul Fitz from purchasing, Kathleen Snella, Kim Livingston Cobb, Gracie Buntello, our HR director. These people have been at it for 6 months. And I will tell you, I will admit, they are tired. All of us are weary. There's been so much time and energy and effort put in to our stewardship responsibility of keeping you here, keeping you, we heard you. The report that we got, a survey from Pew of 60 universities across the nation, your generation spoke loud and clear. We want to come back. We want to be face-to-face. We want a traditional undergraduate experience. We want to be with our classmates. And we heard that loud and clear. And this group worked diligently for 6 months to be able to offer a fall semester that is 39% face-to-face and some 30% hybrid and 20% all online to be, and we're record freshman class. We're 96, our housing is at 90% occupancy. If you search the rest of UT system, there are very few. San Antonio is not, El Paso is not. They brought back much fewer, if any, students back on campus face-to-face. I just want you to know, this team has worked tirelessly as servant leaders, as stewards, to attempt to provide our students and our faculty. Our faculty wanted to be here. Folks, this is why we do it. They love being in your presence and the face-to-face interaction. And let's face, I don't learn well online. I'm much better face-to-face with someone doing instruction. And that's why we work so hard. We knew that was valuable. We knew you'd given up a lot. We wanted to do our very best in an attempt to provide an environment, a physical environment, a digital environment, so that you can continue to excel academically in research, but try to do it face-to-face to give you a more traditional experience. So that's what I've got for you tonight. I think the next one is a thank you and a questions. And I've talked enough. We'll open it up because we need to get back to Liberty Landing, Victory Village, recycling, any of those that we want to hit on. So any questions from anyone?
You know, I don't have a question right now, but I did just want to go ahead and say thank you for everything. It sounds like y'all have done a lot to make sure that you're dividing up everything to make sure that you get everything done for the students in the best possible way. And hearing all of the effort that y'all put in and the organization that y'all go through is so encouraging for us and just like really helpful for me. It makes me feel like I can really trust y'all. So I really appreciate that.
Great. Great, Taylor. Thank you. other questions? And this is just one time during the semester. You know we're here. We know we're available to you. Josh knows how to find us, and we'll come back and have more conversations. We've worked with SGA on the sidewalk projects before. And I hope we get to work with you on recycling.
Yes, I hope so too. That's actually awesome to hear that that she's working on that. So we're excited to hear more about that, and the more that we can help you guys with in that regard, we certainly will. I certainly will. I think that's an awesome thing to hear, that she's moving forward with something like that.
They're working on it. I think we'll have an ability to have some upcoming meetings in the next couple months. In the chat room, and Adam asked about the nursing building. We were awarded $35 million in PUP funds for the nursing building. The system asked us to hold. I think, and we're still holding on it. UT Health Science Center Tyler was awarded $60 million for a med ed building. And they were ready to interview design professionals, and then they got asked to be put on hold. I think part of this has to do with the upcoming merger of UT Tyler with UT Health Science Center Tyler. I think the regents and the system is wanting that experience to be completed. And once it is, then I think both projects will begin to move forward again. I don't know in what format that will be. I don't know how much you're aware. All right. So in the last 6 months, when all of this was going on behind the scenes of trying to keep, the university never closed. We have always been open. So amongst all of the background, all the planning, the cabinet has also been working on the merger. There have been extensive meetings with the steering committee. A prospectus was submitted to our SACS. SACS COC is the accreditation body that the prospectus has to be presented to. They must approve that and say, yes, we want you two to merge. And with that, as an educational institution, we're able to move forward. That was submitted September 1st. SACS COC meets in Atlanta, Georgia, December 5th through the 8th. If they vote yes, then December 9th, we become a new UT Tyler with assets on University Boulevard, assets on 271, assets in Palestine, assets in Longview, a program in Houston with engineering, and potentially an additional site down by UT Health East Texas and Christus Trinity Mother Francis. So I think the regents would look at a January 1st of 2021 merger date and announcement of this brand new UT Tyler. And then there's a lot of work. Well, what does that UT Tyler look like? How are we organized? How are we going to move forward? That has all yet to be worked out. But my guess is the nursing building, the med ed building have been asked to hold until that is complete. And once that's decided and defined, I think both projects will move on, because those dollars have been awarded and they're waiting for us. Would you happen to know anything on camps for the upcoming? So we don't know. Yeah, that was a shame. Folks, there's been a lot of casualties to COVID-19, and obviously you saw all the executive orders from the governor and all that. There's a lot we weren't able to do or to offer. We have not heard for what summer 21 is going to look like for camps. We're still, folks, we're still talking and working on the spring semester of 21. Realize we're going into a flu season amid a COVID pandemic. And we're very concerned about, we were concerned about fall semester. Now we're concerned about what the spring 21 semester looks like when you all come back from winter break in January, and we do this all over again with, hopefully there's a vaccine, but we don't know what's going to happen. And then it's the prime of flu season is December, January, and February. So you get the two and we're like, famous last words in my family are, we'll see. We don't know. We're working on it. Any other questions? And then I don't know, was Chief Metters able to join us? Josh, are you able to see the you can close the presentation down. That was the last slide. And put everybody back up on the Brady Bunch screen. There we go. I can't tell. Let me see if I see a box for Chief Metters.
I don't believe he's with us right now.
I don't see it. He doesn't seem to be present. Yeah, okay. Well, you know, I've talked to him. If I've talked to him once, I've talked to him 12 times today. We are literally operating hour to hour trying to keep everything going. So I apologize he couldn't be here, but I hopefully have shared his great leadership, the team he has assembled, what they have done to create a wonderful security team to keep all of us safe. Any other questions? Because I know you've got an agenda you want to get to.
Let me explain. So I wanted to ask, I've had a couple of students who all of their courses are online, but they still have had group meetings. They might have to, you know, come to campus, or their office hours. You know, they've had like 2 days of the school year so far where they've had to come to campus. So they don't want to purchase the entire parking pass. And so they were wondering if there was maybe a way to discuss having a day pass, or being able to park, you know, by hourly parking.
Yeah, Cameron, that has not come up before, so thank you. Yes, we can have that conversation and have that discussion.
That would be great. Thank you so much.
You bet. Yeah, are you? Would it be okay? I've got. I don't have access to student emails, but I've got your name, and I could work with Josh to see if we might be able to pull a group together to talk through all the concerns, and then work it through our police division and budget and finance, and see what we might be able to come up with. Think creatively and see what we might be able to do. Would that be okay?
Yes, absolutely. That sounds like a great plan.
Cameron, thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Did I answer the Liberty Landing to Victory Village sidewalk adequately? Sidewalk project?
Well, I wanted to ask, personally, as a Liberty Landing resident myself, when is the, and also as someone who's seen some experiences with the unfortunately placed hawk light, is there a timeline for what that change might be?
Yeah, yes, there is. We actually received the final documents next week, Wednesday, and those would go out to bid to contractors. We were all on track. There's nothing stopping us. The funds are there. We're ready to go. We were actually going to bid it out here in September, get going in October, so that when you returned in January, the new concrete walk would be in place. The hawk light would be relocated from the horrible position it's in now to the mid-block position where it is supposed to be, activate it. And then we learned that the light pole for the relocated hawk light has a 9-month lead time. So that just came up this morning with Rex Brown. We are now calling Dallas to see if we can purchase this pole ahead of time and get it here sooner, so that we could still, our goal would be to have the sidewalk and the new hawk light installed when you return by January. That's what we're pushing for right now. It's going to depend on if we have the ability to purchase this 9-month lead. You can have a baby in 9 months. Surely we can create a pole to hold the hawk light sooner than that. But with COVID, it's been a mess. That's what we're working on. Josh, see what we can do. Our goal would be when you come back from winter break in January, we want to have that hawk light in place and make it safe to cross.
I think so. Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
To Adam, yes, that is the only Adam. That is the only portion of the sidewalk. We are not able to use the parking fees to create the sidewalk that is in the state of Texas, TxDOT right of way from Victory Village to Liberty Landing along University Boulevard, we're going to have to find additional funding. And right now, with a 5% drawback from the state of Texas and an additional 4% clawback to each one of our budgets, we don't have the funds available to build that connecting sidewalk. That'll have to come in years to come. So I'm sorry.
Sorry, I think Senator Medlin had a question, and then you go ahead, JT.
It's okay. He can go ahead. Mine was kind of like the last one just asked.
So I was wondering, is there some sort of specific way the parking pass funds are either disclosed or like kept? Are they all in like one specific fund and then you decide where they go? How is that broken down, I guess?
They go into a cost center called parking reserves. They are used, they are dedicated, have to be used in relationship to parking lot, sidewalks, public safety.
Okay, because I know, I think it was last year or last semester, they were like mostly refunded because of COVID. So
Yeah, well, and that hurt. I mean, because yeah, that came out of that cost center. Which is why we don't have enough money to do some of this. Yeah, there were lots of dollars that were returned for food service not used, parking not used, and housing not used, and that. The parking refunds that everyone got came from that cost center of parking reserves. So, which I think was the right thing to do. Folks weren't here. You didn't get to use the services. We thought it was the right thing to do. And so those parking fees were refunded. It hurts, but.
okay, thank you.
You bet. Taylor, you had a question? No, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you all, I wish you well in SGA this year. Thank you for your service. You know, I am in Stewart Hall 336C. You'll see me out and about on campus. Please stop me, say hello. Don't hesitate to reach out and see how can we best serve you. The two questions that I ask each one of my team members once a year is, how can I best serve you? And what more can I do to ensure your success? So anytime, feel free, reach out to me, see what we can do. I can't promise you I can do it, but we will try, okay? I wish you all the success this year. Truly, you are our future leaders. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your service. Let's go out and do some really great things for UT Tyler, because this is our semi-centennial year. This is our 50th anniversary. You are the 50th group to proceed through UT Tyler. Let's make it a great, even amidst COVID-19, let's make it a great year. So thank you, everybody. I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much, Jerry, and you have a wonderful rest of your evening.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Alrighty, guys. So, that was awesome. I think Jerry is one of the coolest guys on our campus. I think he's awesome, and he is serious whenever he says that he is there to listen to us and he is there to support us in anything he can help us do. He is very serious about that. So I encourage you guys that if you do have a question, especially regarding any of those things, if he can't directly answer your question, I know he will help you find. He'll help you find the person who can. And whenever I say and whenever he says it, I truly mean it. Jerry will take the extra mile and go the extra mile for students and anybody. So with that, that was really, really informative, and I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope that if you guys do have any questions, you guys know who to go to now. So moving right along, let me share my other screen really quick, and we'll get going on our agenda for the day. Let me share our agenda very quickly. I think it did it right. You guys can see it. So to start off, my report for the week, I have been actually pretty busy today. I've been working out who will be coming to visit us in the next couple of weeks, in the same way Jerry just has. So I've lined up to speak with the Associate Provost, Dr. Colleen Swain. She'll be coming to speak about academic success, academic support services, and things like that. And I think along with Ashley Bill, who's the director for academic advising on campus, along with Blake Bombard, who is the Title IX coordinator on our campus, in response to some questions you guys have had in the past. And he'll be able to speak on to us about some of the changes that have happened to national Title IX laws in the past couple of months, as well as what the university has changed, and also some of what the state of Texas changed at the turn of the year. So that'll be really informative, and you guys can be prepared for that. If you guys want to know a little bit more about them before they come, they should do similar to what Jerry did, kind of an overview of what they do. As far as that, anything else, I've been updating rosters and inviting students to come speak to us and maybe join, and getting student representation in here with you guys. I would encourage you guys to continue asking students just to come sit in, or telling them, hey, just come see what it's about. And if you don't like it, then it was just an informative hour-and-a-half meeting to come sit in, and maybe you learn something about the school. And if not, and they're really interested in joining, I'm sure they'll be an excellent student to serve with us. So after that, I don't have much more. I've completed a lot of my work that I'm doing at UTSAC. And then we talk about that a lot, and it seems kind of like an enigma. I know I've been there. But if you guys want to hear more about what the Student Advisory Council is doing and what it looks like, then feel free to. And other than that, I'm going to hand it off to Vice President Cooper.
Hold on. My camera isn't working. Yes, it is. All right. Hello. Hi, guys. Okay. Got my SGA polo on this week. We're super excited. Okay. And my microphone's working. Yay. I just ran upstairs. I ran to get food, and then Josh was like doing his spiel, and I was like, oh my God, I have to run. Okay. So my update, like Josh said, we're both working on UTSAC. I'm meeting with my COVID response committee, I believe this weekend, because we have to have a meeting a month virtually. And so we'll be going over our individual institutions. And like Josh said, if you have any more questions, of course, reach out to either of us about that. Today, there was a student success town hall at 2 o'clock. And it encompassed all of the departments that fall under the student success. The vice president of student success, Ona Tolliver. And so there were so many, like 8 or 9 or something. But anyway, it was a great little town hall. It was about 45 minutes long. Joshua Neves was there and answered a bunch of questions. But I did get to ask a few questions that I know have been asked in SGA or to me through text or to me during orientation. And so I got those answered, and they were, let me see what they were. I wrote them down. One was about swoop camp for those students that did not get to participate this past summer. So like, for instance, the freshmen that went through orientation this past summer, so 2020, did not get to go to swoop camp because it was canceled due to COVID. And so the student engagement department will be looking at options for them, whether that be actually incorporating them into a swoop camp or creating a separate version or experience for them to have their own little swoop camp. Okay, the next question was, so I know most everybody got, if not everybody got the Patriots Engage email yesterday from students, who was it from? Yeah, it was from Patriots Engage. It was about the suspension of in-person events. And so I asked, because I was asked this by a student, why are events canceled, but not in-person courses, because they were making the case that they're similar, which does make sense. But the answer that I got from the Dean of Students was that the reasoning behind the cancellation of events, not in-person courses, was that when it comes to on-campus events, though there are strict precautions in place and we are required to take them per the COVID response, whatever it was we put in place for student organizations to follow for this semester, there's no way for the university to really know if student orgs are following them at their events, because at every student event, there's not always an advisor or like a faculty or staff member watching the whole time, which does make sense. And so that was the reasoning behind that move. And then the last question was about the UTT branded masks that you could have picked up. And each student was given one free mask through your student ID number. So you get one per student. And then I had a bunch of students tell me that they wore them so much that the elastic would break, or they're just super run down or whatever. So they were asking if they could get more. And so the answer that I received was that the university is looking into that at the moment. That's as far as I'm going to go with that one. But anyway, just want to let y'all know some of the questions that were asked about that on that call. There weren't many, and I'm trying to remember some of the other ones, but those are the ones that I asked. I think that was it for my report. The rest of my report is going to be in committee reports.
Awesome. Thank you for that report from that town hall, Hannah. I did not get to make it, so that's good to hear. Next up is Secretary Stavanaugh.
So this week, as you guys know, we elected a whole bunch of new senators last week. And this week, my goal has just been getting everybody's information. And I am going to apologize to the senators who were here from the beginning of the semester. I am going to be sending out that form again that you guys filled out with all of your contact information. So this is your opportunity if you didn't fill it out earlier. Super important, please fill that out. And for the new senators, this is going to be a form that's just asking you guys to privately share your methods of communication that you would like, whether that be email, text, Snapchat. I really don't care. Just whatever is going to let me get in touch with you if I need you. So that's going to be great. We are also swearing in some new senators this week, so that's super exciting. But I've also been working on getting everybody, onto the roster and everybody into Engage. So if you are a senator and you have not gone to the Engage for SGA and signed up to be a member, that would be great if you could do that. And if you have any questions, just message me in the chat and I will get that information to you. And then the rest of it's going to be in my committee report.
Okay, thank you, Jennifer. Next up is Treasurer Long.
Hi. Okay. Awesome. So this past week, I want to say sorry I wasn't at the last meeting. It was a crazy day. If you all know, I was in a car accident. And then moments before this meeting, I just got a rental car, and it's a 2020 Wrangler, so it's pretty nice, but I'm very scared to drive it. If anybody has new car suggestions, as my car is totaled, that would be welcomed. Anyways, beyond personal stuff, work stuff, what I was working on in the office this week, I am trying to create posters that will reach out to students about resources we have on campus. So this past week, I made a poster about the free online textbooks that the library has purchased. If y'all don't know about that, it's really, really cool. Please tell this to your representative constituents. The library essentially purchased like over like $120,000 worth of online e-textbooks so that are free to the students. And all they have to do is go on the library website. They're not guaranteed to find a textbook for all the classes they are in. And there's some majors that have more, you know, it's difficult, but it's a really great start. And I don't know the exact numbers, but if every student coming in used those ebooks, they would save over another $100,000. Not individually, but like collectively. It's really awesome. UT Tyler is constantly working towards being more accessible, and that's something really great that y'all can talk to your constituents about. I also was working on, I will talk more about this in my committee report, but I was learning how the process of giving people funding for the events are kind of weird right now, but again, we'll talk about that in committee. Next, I just want to give a heads up that this is my last semester at UT Tyler, and so I am starting to take steps to move into the big girl world. The first step is I'm taking the GRE in less than 2 weeks, and I am stressed, but so I'm something I hate to do is to take a step back, but I'm going to be taking some steps back to thanks to be focusing on studying. This is something, the GRE is something that will decide my future. So as much as I want to give 100% to everything I'm doing right now, I'm trying to really focus on that. So if I am slow to reply or difficult to reach, I really do apologize. After October 2nd, I will be so much more available and probably a lot less high strung. So that's all I'm going to say for my report. But yeah, I appreciate y'all being patient and all that stuff with me.
Thank you, Senator. Man, I'll never get these all right. I'm so sorry. Treasurer Long. Last but not least, Parliamentarian Ray.
Hey, so this week I posted on the Engage page. I didn't send out an email to everybody because I'm going to send out, I didn't send an email from the Engage page because I'm going to just send out an email directly so that everybody in SGA has the files. But again, before I do that, I want to make sure that we've got everybody inducted in correctly so that we have a full email list. That way I'm not having to send it out 5 or 6 times. But if you do need to see any kind of the 3 documents, or 5, I guess, depending on how you think of it, the SGA documents, which is the Constitution, bylaws, and election code, followed by the House rules and the simple guide. Those are all 3 on the Engage page. And then the official SGA website for UT Tyler is updated with the official SGA documents now as well. So if you wanted to see the official rules, you can get on the SGA website and see those very easily. So they're out there now and accessible. That's it.
All righty. Thank you, Robert. Did all of you guys receive an email from Patrons Engage this week regarding you being added to SGA?
I received an email, but after we accept the invitation, are we supposed to see it pop up on our Canvas?
No, there shouldn't be Canvas. We're not going to run it through Canvas. Anything we send you guys from now on will either be through email or posted to Engage. Because in the past, like Canvas is kind of, and like who really wants to be on Canvas after being on Canvas all day?
Yeah.
So I think we're going to try to manage some stuff. And Josh is definitely the Engage guru. So if we have anything that we're working out, or we may try to take attendance through there at some point. So if we are all registered to the organization through there, it should work seamlessly, or it's supposed to. So with that, we'll move on to our committee reports. If you can go ahead, Vice President Cooper.
All right. So thank you to everybody that came out to Constitution Day last Thursday. Again, I apologize I couldn't be there, but I'm so glad that a lot of you got to go out and support, whether it was volunteering or actually participating in person or online. And with that, we received an email from Miss Tanya Showen from the Dean of Students office. For the students that participated in Constitution Day, the virtual version, so online, they were not able, of course, in person to receive their Constitution Day swag. So the, the little gifts or whatever. So she needs, and of course this is very last minute, but if anybody is available on, she said Friday, so I'm assuming this Friday, Friday from 9 to 5. If anybody's available at any point on Friday to pack some bags, so to send to those students that participated virtually in the Constitution Day event, so we can send them their prizes, that would be great. I have all the information. It's going to be in the Student Success Conference Room, which is UC 3322. I'll send all this in the chat. But if anybody is available from 9 to 5 on Friday, again, I can't be there. I work 9 to 5. But if anybody is available, please let me know. Again, it's not mandatory because it's very last minute. But it'd be very, very helpful because we did volunteer for the main event. And this is kind of a shoot off from the main event. So if anybody could volunteer and help, that would be great. Even if it's just an hour, just to go out and help pack some of those bags. So I'll send it in the chat and just let me know if you can go out and help. Thanks. That's it.
Thank you, Hannah. Moving on to, communications. Ooh, just lost my bubble there.
All right, so this week at Communications Committee, I had one attendee. Thank you, Senator Rodriguez, for being there. I love to see smiling, happy faces at my committee, though. So please do me a favor, scan that little QR code. Josh Minhanet is gonna put the link into the chat because that is on his screen and you guys can't click on it. But he's gonna put that into the chat because committee attendance is mandatory. You have to be at least one of them every week. Also, I'd like to apologize to Cameron for not being at our committee this week. Had a little minor emergency. It's all good. But this week, Gerardo and we worked on, I already actually made a post. I used Treasurer Long's poster about the new ebooks because that is super exciting, and the poster she designed is beautiful and flawless. So I went ahead and used it and put it on our social media because it's fantastic. And Gerardo and I are going to be working on an Instagram archives or story archives. And the one that we're going to be working on this week is how you would go about reporting something to the Title IX office. And then next week, we are going to be working on how you would go about reporting something to the CARE team, which I don't remember what CARE stands for, but if I'm remembering correctly, it's the former behavioral intervention team. So like if your roommate is struggling and you think that they need help, that's who you would call. And then what else? Oh, I'm going to send out the survey again. I want to know how to get in contact with all of you because I don't get to see your pretty smiling faces in my office or at meetings anymore, which is super sad because I also remind people to do things before and after meetings, and we're not getting that anymore. So I need to be able to get in contact with you guys. So I'm going to send that out. Please, please, please fill it out. And if you think that maybe you didn't fill it out last time I sent it, please, please fill it out. All right, that is all, guys. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Jennifer. Last but not least, rules from Chief of Staff Robert Ray. That's what it is now.
Hey, do I get to talk about my committee?
Oh, I'm really just trying to make it through the day. Yes. You know, I guess I can allow that. I can allow that.
Thank you. Okay. So I am also going to touch on what Jennifer was saying. Josh just sent that link that is also the QR code. Whatever you're doing right now, if you have not filled out that Qualtrics, like really do it right now. I expect you to have it done before I'm done reporting on my committee. Like Jennifer, I had 2 senators come to my committee. And I will say I am so sorry to the new senators. I probably freaked out by sending a mass email to y'all saying it's mandatory, this is where I'm meeting, and I didn't give any other information. So just to like kind of fill y'all in, there's 2 kinds of meetings that senators are expected to attend. One is the GA meetings, which you are in right now. Congratulations, good job. And second are a committee, at least one committee. You're always more than welcome to come to more than one a week. Each executive board member has a committee except for Josh. He does a lot of things, so he doesn't have a committee. And each of those committees, the officers work hard on different things that we need senator help for. My committee, as I explained in the email, we vote on student funding to give to organizations on campus. I need voting members though in my committee, or voting members as in senators in my committee, or else I can't give organizations money and then they can't have their events. And that is really unfair to them. And it looks really bad on us. And so I don't want to be forceful in it, but I need at least 5 senators to come to my committee. Right now I have David Botter, I appreciate you. Claire Lamberti, I appreciate the heck out of you too. If I could get 3 senators to put in the chat saying they will come to my committee right now, I would really appreciate that. Yes, 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 okay. Y'all are making my day, okay. No, not physical. I will have a Zoom, reach out to y'all. Let me take a picture of these people and make sure I don't lose them. I will email y'all the link to my Zoom and invite y'all to the Outlook. It's Tuesday at 11 a.m. I really don't even care if you're still in bed. I just need you there to listen to orgs come so I can have voting members. But awesome. 5 senators is a really great number. Anyone else is more than welcome to come. But without 5 senators, I was really struggling. Okay. So again, I want to apologize for if I freaked out. If you can't come to my committee at Tuesdays at 11, on that link, it says all the other committee times. Just make sure you're signed up for one of them, okay? And if you sign up for one, you are expected to be there. And we will be taking attendance. And if you don't attend, it's going to negatively impact you. And I don't want that. I want everybody in here successful. So when it comes to my committee meeting, how it went this week, I wouldn't say it was graceful. I would say it's actually the opposite. Sadly, about 7 minutes before my committee meeting started is when the email got sent out about the suspension of in-person activities, which you can imagine really threw a wrench in a lot of people's plans. And so we had one org come to us to ask for funding, and it was kind of a meeting where I was basically saying, it's hard for me to be optimistic about your event because it's 2 days after the suspension ends. And so that was a hard conversation, but we will be meeting with them again on Tuesday and hopefully getting approving them, but not only if there's going to be an in-person activity. So that's awesome, though. That was our first request. I already have another request that came in, and I'm expecting another one too. So hopefully in our meeting on Tuesday, we will have 3 requests to go over, which is really exciting because that's 3 orgs that are working really hard to reach out to students. And that is so, 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 so important right now. Yeah, that's about it. If y'all have questions, you can email me. I will be reaching out to the senators that said they can come, and we'll get y'all the Zoom link. Other than that, appreciate y'all. Thanks.
Thank you, Cameron. I think that's very important. It's very important what she's saying about the committees, and thank you guys to those 3 people. And I have gone through the Qualtrics, and they have not had access to that. So I do see the students who have signed up for that. So I'm sorry to beat a dead horse here, but it is very important because that helps me track it too. Plus I like to call it a pretty roster that has all your names on it. I like to know where you guys are going to be or supposed to be. So last, and I think the last one, unless there's another committee that I missed, Robert Ray.
The only thing I needed to present, I presented in my office.
All right then, moving on to student voice reports. As the 4 students who are responsible for reporting this week have not, I just wanted to stress that really don't worry about it. No one here will bite your head off for anything that you do or do not say, but just report on what you might be hearing from students. Don't feel like just because you didn't hear from someone in Liberty Landing or U Pines that you shouldn't say it. I think any concern that you have from any student is important, but we'll go ahead and start right off. We'll start with the Liberty Landing senators. If we can start with, we'll go in alphabetical order by last name just because that helps me a little bit. So can you please pronounce it again because I want to make sure I'm saying it right. Your last name is?
Mattern? Are you talking about me?
Yes, ma'am. Mattern. Okay, that's what I keep on wanting to say. Okay, so Senator Mattern.
I don't know what I'm supposed to say. Like, I haven't been here because I had to go home because my roommates tested positive, and so I've had to quarantine for 2 weeks at my house because they're coming back here at the apartment. But I mean,
that is a fair enough reason to not have talked to many people. So I think that's an excusable reason. I guess so something that we've all experienced it, or especially returning senators, is like at the end of last year, whenever we were like, what is a way I can reach out to someone if I'm not really accessible to that? One of the best ways we found is just engage with them as you can on social media if you do that. But other than that, I can understand if you were quarantining at home.
Are there specific things that I'm like trying to figure out, or just like talk in general?
Yeah, so I mean, like if you're, like I said, it obviously if you're quarantined, your ability to speak to people, even in a casual conversation, is much different because your ability to obviously speak to people was probably your family, and that's not really relative to the university. Just that's all it is. I mean, if we ask someone, and so if you're back on campus and you happen to just walk by someone who is walking to their apartment or something like that, you'd be like, well, what is something? Another thing that we're asking you guys to do is meet with your head of constituency. So in your case, you would be meeting with Blair Warren, and also I just lost his name, the director for housing and res life. Just talk to them and say, like, what is one way do you think that I could work around the current situation? And I can give you those
I know
people.
something. They were talking about the water. My roommates, how they didn't have water whenever they would deliver to the hotel, and I think Blair was in charge of that. I guess would I talk to him about that?
They should already be delivering water to the people that
Okay,
specifically
they
request
haven't.
it.
I mean, they said that they were like, is a bottle of water supposed to last me like a couple of days or something? That was
Okay.
very
They
sarcastic.
pretty much everything, if they want it, they have to specifically request it through housing,
Okay.
because it's been kind of a mess, and so it's very hard to be proactive when there's so much stuff going on. So if they call housing 8 to 5 and ask, we do have water available. We just had, I reached out like pretty much exactly after that first SGA meeting because I had to go over there. So I talked to Scott, and between the two of them and the head of Sodexo, they are ordering water and getting that all worked out for the people that specifically request it. I'm not totally sure what the like system is on the back end for making sure that they get it, but I know that they can at least request it.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. And also, Adam or Senator Watkins has said that he's been under quarantine the same way. So that is no worry, guys. Obviously, that situation, the overarching situation is what it is, and we've all heard plenty about it. I would just say any time that you are passing someone, hopefully sooner or later, and you can get back on campus. And if you are speaking to someone, it's literally that easy. And like I said, you don't have to feel as though because it wasn't the person in your or apartment complex so you can't speak to them. Again, I bet the best way is you guys collaborate with each other and set up a meeting with Blair Warren and also the director for Res Life, and I can give you guys those contacts so you guys can do that.
And thank
But
you.
yes, ma'am. So I guess we'll do University Pines, and we can go by last name. So as far as I see it here is Senator Cecilia. I'm not.
Hi. Okay. So I have also been in quarantine, and I am going to be for the next 3 weeks, it seems. But what I heard prior to it was there was no like social distancing on in University Pines. Like there was a bunch of parties all the time, especially the people who lived under me. Another issue I saw or kept hearing, and this is the more prominent one, was that we're not going to be in class or on campus in December, but they're still making us pay that $700 a month in December. And a lot of people are mad. And whenever I confronted the, I don't know what they're called, like the director or something, they're like, well, you still have to pay it because it's like a retainer fee to keep your apartment. And if we don't pay it, allegedly we'll get kicked out. So yeah, that's all I have.
David Botter raised hand. I'm assuming that he has a little bit to say about that.
Okay.
Yeah, so the way University Pines' rent works is you're actually paying installments of a total lump sum. Like if you lived on a campus, you would pay that lump sum all in one bit. But over at U Pines, what they do is, unless you ask to pay it all at once, they break it down into I think it's like 5 months for each semester, and they just divide that number. So that's why you're paying the whole sum for even like the months where August, whenever you first move in, and December, whenever you're not going to be there. And that's something that their corporate office sets up, is those rates. You might be able to talk to Matthew Cartwright about that, but chances are that's not going to change anything because you're just paying the lump sum for the whole semester. It's not really like you're paying month by month.
But doesn't I mean, in my opinion, I would think the same would apply to like y'all, like people at like OHA, you know, they have to pay the specific rate and it's supposed to cover the entire year. But if you're not going to be there all of December and you're not allowed to go like straight, like, because I know in August you can move in early if you have circumstances. But I've already looked into staying on campus in December because I have a housing situation and it's just a automatic no. So I don't know. It's tricky. It's all politics.
Yeah, it's a little bit complicated. The easiest way to look at it would be to just look at it like for this school year specifically, because we're not coming back after Thanksgiving. You're really just paying more for a shorter time than you would normally spend in the apartment. So like let's just say that the total sum is 4,000 for the semester, and then it's just being divided 500 for each month rather than like 450 if you were
Yeah.
cutting out December.
Yes, Senator Kinsey, you raised your hand.
Yes, I am also at U Pines, and I have a work study, and I emailed and I called to ask whether or not I can stay over any breaks, and they told me that they don't check who stays and who leaves, and we can stay for as long as we want. They're not kicking us off. The only thing is the campus closes, so if we don't have our own means of transportation, it's like on us to get food.
Yeah. I was talking to one of the leasing directors, I think I don't know her name. She had an accent. Because I had asked her, you know, if I could stay, and she said no. I mean, I don't know who you talk to. I don't get like a very like straightforward answer ever at U Pines. And yeah, she just straight up said no. We're gonna check rooms to see if people left, I guess. Yeah, I had a meeting with her last week about that.
Interesting. Okay. I may have to double check that because I do have to stay. But
okay.
All right.
So I would say for your situation specifically, how about, because I know Senator Botter has a lot of experience. He used to be an RA over there, so he would know who to reach out to. Frankly, I haven't had to reach out to University Pines for much in the past, so I don't want to send you guys off on a wild goose chase. But just for you guys to find out more information and for you guys to be more connected in the future, David, if you could send them just contact your email and allow them so they can just check in with you and give you the information, because I just don't know, and I understand the situation with feeling like you're not getting a straight answer, and I don't want that to happen. And at least you guys know who to go to instead of it seems like there might be some miscommunication with some people, and to try to avoid that, I just think Senator Botter's an awesome guy, and he would be able to help. I would hope so. Matthew.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you know anyone else other than Matthew Cartwright? Because him and I have had like disputes in the past where like he's just told me.
The one I reached out to that told me I could stay.
Yeah, I mean, when I was first moving in, he told me something completely different about one thing, and then the leasing director like completely changed it up. I don't think he likes me, but yeah.
So Matthew Cartwright's the general manager over there. Any higher up, I'm trying to remember her name. If you send me an email, I can probably get her name. That would be someone from the corporate office who probably won't have the answers for you. But just for like general questions like that, you can also talk to Claudius Chakarira. He's the residence director over there, and he'll be able to help you as well. He'll have a lot of the same information that Matthew has if communicating with Matthew is difficult.
Okay, thank you.
I would say that if you're having issues with Mr. Cartwright, Y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, well, Jackie Hughes, I'm almost certain is his boss. He probably won't be able to.
Now we
The
cannot
problem
hear
is
you.
You're cutting out.
okay, yeah, don't worry about it. It's okay. Jackie Hughes is his boss if y'all need it.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Do you guys from University Pines have anything else?
I do. I have a couple more things.
Okay.
I also noticed a lot of parties, a lot of like kind of appalling lack of enforcement about masks, especially in like the laundry room, things like that. Also, I have heard that we are the only housing, I guess, spot that has to pay for our laundry. And we do have a free laundry day today, but a lot of us are either in quarantine or precautionary quarantine and aren't able to do that. So that's another thing I've heard. The last thing is the people who are in precautionary quarantine or quarantine testing positive, we're not receiving food. Like, I had to call, I'm in a precautionary quarantine. I tested negative, but I was in contact with somebody who tested positive, and I was in quarantine yesterday, and I went to go get my test like in the afternoon, and I hadn't eaten anything all day. And then they told me, go back to your dorm and stay there, or your apartment, and stay there. And then I didn't receive food until today at like 5 p.m. Yeah, I don't know how long most people can go without food, but like I was hungry. And I'm not the only one in that situation. So I had to call like 5 times to finally get some food. And I don't know how that's supposed to be working, but it doesn't seem like it's working.
I can answer how it's supposed to be working because I have to deal with delivering the food. That's been a mess lately because there is so many calls going into the COVID hotline that they haven't really been able to both handle all the calls and handle telling people where they need to be and also handling who needs to get food or not. And so housing pretty much over the last, I want to say, couple days has completely taken over who is getting food. And they are trying to consolidate that and make sure that it's updated as fast as possible. But what we've been trying to tell everyone as fast as we can is like if you need or don't need food anymore, call housing or email housing, but preferably call them. And because housing is the one that writes the numbers on the meals to tell them where to go. And so they have direct access to the list to write the numbers on the meals. So they're the ones to contact. And that was just changed either right before the weekend or on the weekend. So there's still, some kinks that have been missing. And I apologize for somebody not getting your food to you when you should have had it. But I know you're not alone. And I've definitely been asking about multiple people at the end of every day that contact me through the RA cell phone, like, hey, this person should be on the list. Why are they not on the list? And then it's like, oh, well, they were on the list, but whoever did it used an outdated version of the list, and stuff like that has been slowly getting fixed. So hopefully there's less of that issue, but I'm not in upper management or anything, so I would not know.
I'm going to chime in. I'm going to tell you right now, it's some of those little kinks that happened last week has been worked out, and so it should be a lot more efficient now than ever before. And so if there's situations where things are not getting addressed, there's 2 emails you need to email. The first one is housing@uttyler.edu, and it does not matter if you live in UPines or not. And then the second one is going to be student success at uttyler.edu. So those are the 2 emails that if there's issues or water's not getting delivered or food's not getting delivered, you can email those email accounts, and I can promise you within 24 hours, if not in an hour, you're going to get a response. They've got people checking those emails now more than ever before. And then a few students have also reached out to the pantry, and we are more than happy to provide a bag of food, snacks, and some microwavable items as well. And so that email is patriotpantry@uttyler.edu, or you can call my office and we'll take care of students. And so I agree, no student, should have to wait, especially if we're asking students to quarantine. The other issue that hasn't been addressed is parties. If it's an on-campus facility and students are blatantly not following the rules, you need to call the RA on duty if you're in housing. And if they're not being responsive, then go ahead and call the UT Tyler Police Department. And so I know for a fact that if students are blatantly not following the rules and putting the health and safety risk of others, then they will be referred to judicial affairs for conduct violations, and they will be held accountable. And if multiple violations occur, then we will ask them to go home because we are not, I don't think it's fair for students to act like that and potentially make our semester at risk just because they want to have a good time in a irresponsible way. And so there are a lot of safe ways to hang out and have social events, but in a small confined space on the first floor or third floor of an apartment is not acceptable. And so report those, and those will also get addressed as well.
What about the lack of wearing masks in the public spaces?
Yeah, so that one's a little tricky because now a lot, especially in I work in the UC and I see a lot of students, and a lot of students are often eating or drinking, so they have their masks down. But I feel pretty confident in saying that faculty and staff are going to start saying things now that things are starting to get impacted, such as co-curricular activities. I think people are going to start calling out students who are not wearing their mask. And if a student just flat out says, no, I don't want to wear it, well, then we're going to ask them to go outside or walk with us down to judicial affairs. It's clearly outlined in the reboot plans. Face coverings are required. There's posters and signage everywhere, but we're going to do it in a respectful way. We're not going to be, you have to wear your mask. Sometimes a gentle reminder is needed. As hey guys, can you pull up your mask? And 9 times out of 10 students are going to do that. And so we're going to start reminding students that if we see someone not wearing it, we're going to say something. But I think the biggest help is, and this is something I'm going to talk about during my comments, is students need to start helping, speaking up and saying something. It's like, hey y'all, I'm wearing my mask, you should too. Pull it up. It is a choice, and so if they're choosing not to, no one's requiring them to be in the university center. And if it's something that they don't feel comfortable wearing, they have a choice not to wear it, and they can work with a faculty member and on how to get accommodations for that. We just want to make sure that we're keeping everyone safe as possible, and that's what Jerry talked about a little bit earlier. And so if you see something, say something.
What about students who came into contact with people who tested positive for COVID, but they're still going to class afterwards?
Yeah, so that one we need to know about, and obviously that's a FERPA and HIPAA situation, and so every often students will say, well, I know that they came in contact. Well, we don't know, and sometimes other students don't know. And so in situations like that, it is an honor code system, and I hope that students are not taking that risk. And because if we do find out that they are not following either the quarantine guidelines or they provided false information about their contact or COVID results, they're going to be held accountable. And I don't know if that's worth a student risking their education opportunity because of that. So, and if you think that someone should be in quarantine that's not in quarantine, you can definitely call the hotline, and the hotline, the police department will follow up and with that individual and get as much information as possible and make that determination.
Okay, thank you.
What do you mean by held accountable? Do you mean they're going to be expelled or?
I mean, I think every situation is different. I think that it's when a student breaks a rule, sometimes it's black and white on the violation. As far as outcome, I think it depends on the circumstances. As far as, is it the third time? Is it they threw a party? Is it they forgot? You know, that's what judicial affairs is. You know, they're going to have those educational conversations and determine the best course of actions. But if it's, you know, I'm thinking like worst case scenario, if it's a party and a bunch of people get sick, well, they potentially have, you know, put a lot of students at risk because of their actions, or it's their third time of being told, don't do this. You know, it's at some point we're going to have to cut ties. You know, and for the most part, students are following the rules. But there's a handful, and I think that we're starting to learn more about it, and we're going to do a good job of trying to educate them about the choices they're made, and try to get them back on track before we get to that worst case scenario.
All right, thank you.
I have a question. I don't know if this can be enforced, but you know, I see on my social media a lot of people going out to like Cowboys or Far West Club, all these different. They're not social distancing, you know, like it's kind of crazy that they're doing it, honestly. And I see them on campus like the next day, or you know, it's student life, people part of organizations on campus that are also doing that. So how could that go around, like being enforced? Because I know that has been brought up as an issue by some of my peers.
Yeah, and we're getting into one of my questions I was going to ask earlier, but you know, the challenges that we're seeing, it's not because of on-campus activity or groups that they're involved in. You are correct. It's because of off-campus activity, either small gatherings or going to the Cowboys or the River Club, whatever that place is called. That's what's getting us. And we can't, it's a little tricky because we can't make rules and apply them to off campus. Now, what we can do is enforce, it is in our code of conduct that, you know, if we find out that a student has violated federal, state, or local law, then yes, we can hold them accountable. And we do when we do get notified of those types of situations. So, you know, what my advice into that is try to help encourage students not to do those activities. I know it's hard, and I know that for many it's part of the college experience to go do those things. But this is the one semester that I think if we can hold off, then one, we can get through the semester of somewhat in a normal way. I know it's not fully normal, but it's better than what we had to go through in April. But I think it's worth that than having to send everybody home, work from home, everything's online. I think it's a sacrifice that we're going to have to make for at least a semester until we can get through this. And so I know that's a long-winded answer, but I think a lot of it's going to stem from students and students speaking up and discouraging other students from going out because it's not worth the risk.
Okay, I have one last question. What about like sororities? I don't want to point fingers, obviously, but like, both of my roommates are in a sorority, and based off their Instagram photos, there is like zero social distancing. They're always out with them at the I guess they have like a house or something, I'm not sure. And yeah, what about that? Like, I don't know what I'm trying to get to. Who would we contact regarding that?
So same comment as I just mentioned, that's an off-campus situation. So if we know it's on campus, then it's something we can hold accountable. But if it's off campus, it's going to have to be something that we know that they've violated federal, state, or local law.
Yes, Senator Kinsey.
Hi, sorry, I do have one more thing. Last night, I'm in a group chat with some of my friends across campus, and some of them were hearing gunshots, and they had like video recordings of what sounded like gunshots.
Do you live at Upines? You said
I live at Upines, but they were across campus.
That's probably just the Foundry.
honestly the Foundry.
Yeah.
Is
I'm gonna
that
third that.
That's
expected?
Are you?
Yeah, the boundary is pretty much kind of like if the student, if the campus were to say, the boundary would be kind of
So
like.
on something like that, I think I would recommend calling the UT Tyler Police Department, let them know where you live, let them know where you heard it. And then they would respond. If it's even at the Foundry, that's something that they might be able to address if they have cause, or work with the City of Tyler Police Department to have it addressed. The other common thing that we often sometimes see is fireworks.
Mm-hmm. So, well, thank you guys. Before we move on, and I think it's time that we're going to be moving on, I just want to remind you guys that we do have a couple RAs in here, and while not to say that anybody, whoever's responsible for whatever, I want to remind us as students who are residents that the job of being an RA is a stressful job in a regular semester. I know that because I can't imagine having to deal with 15 some odd 18 to 22-year-olds who aren't supposed to have alcohol or different substances on campus, much less telling them to not do any of that stuff, not go in the rooms with their friends, and then also deal with their own personal lives. So while I don't think either one of you guys who are from UPines, I don't believe any of the students here would do that. Just remember that those RAs are working super hard and the RCs are working super hard. So anytime you can give them a wave or salute, or as we say here, talons up, that they're doing an awesome job. I believe they are. I know the ones that are here with us are doing an awesome job, and to be mindful of that as we move forward, whether you live on campus or not. So moving forward, we're going to move on to old business. Do we have anything to bring up from the old business? No. Alrighty. So we'll move on to the swear-ins of a couple of students who were supposed to be here who could not attend last week or had to slip out early. So I'm going to pull up. I have it pulled up, Robert, so no need for that. I can even have it shared if we think we should. I'm going to ask anybody who wasn't here to be sworn in last week, if you could turn your camera on really fast while we do this. And then we'll do the swear in really fast. I'll have it pulled up, but what we'll do is we'll do it without a microphone. It's going to be strange, but it's also more strange to have to hear both of you guys at the same time over the audio. So I'm going to stop the share really fast and then share that, and then you guys can at the same time read it. So we don't
Mr.
have
President,
to have. Yes.
Did you get I sent the oath to you over Zoom, on the Zoom.
Oh, you put it on the chat?
No, well, yeah, on our personal chat over on the.
Okay, give me a
Zoom
second. Wait, did you like send? I have it pulled up, so don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I have it pulled up online.
The page that you would normally join a Zoom meeting is where it would be.
Oh. Okay, well, I'm so sorry, team. We're getting it figured out. We're all in this together.
Do you want me to just share it?
Yes, no, Robert, you just go ahead and share it. I'm having a hard time here. So guys, just as we've talked about, I know Mark, you'll be sworn in the College of Education and Psychology, and then Adon, you'll be sworn into the representation of Victory Village. So in those positions, and the part that says insert the position here, that's how you will respond to that. So let me make sure I could see both of you guys because it will be weird. I'll have to read your lips. So you'll raise your right hand and then you'll say I and then answer your name, and then Center for the College of Education and Psychology, or Center for the Victory Village, or for Victory Village. So raise your right hand and repeat after me, please. I, insert your name, do solemnly swear that I shall faithfully represent the interests of the student of the University of Texas at Tyler. I shall dutifully uphold and preserve the Constitution and bylaws of the Student Government Association while ardently executing the office of, insert the position. For the student body at the University of Texas at Tyler. Woo, we did it. I'm telling you, that is a very strange experience to go through, but I'm glad you guys are awesome. And well, welcome, I guess. You guys are now voting members along with everyone else who is present here, who are senators. So I'm going to switch this back. I think I've got it figured out now. So let me see if I can get this all pulled up. Moving on, we were supposed to do an appointment. However, unfortunately, I don't see her here right now. So we'll move on, and unless she steps in, then we'll have to move that to a different day. Dang, that's it. So the next order of business is I have been notified by our wonderful advisor, Joshua Neves, to appoint a couple of students to vacant university committee spots by the request of the president, Dr. Tidwell. So I have reached out to a couple people. If you guys happen to be interested in filling a seat, it's definitely not too large of a time commitment. It's a really great way to interact with professionals on our campus. And it doesn't take much, depending on which one it is. I like to think that 1 or 2 hours a month is the most that you'll see from them. But we do have, as far as right now, 2 spots. I'm waiting for someone else. So, but if you are interested in serving additionally in another university committee, it's not one of the 4 we speak of every week. It's a different one. Then let me know. So I have 2 students for the Student Engagement Advisory Committee, and I've selected Senator Foote and Senator Botter for those. I have 1 student who said they'll do it, and that is Senator Rodriguez. He'll be sitting as part of the Student Financial Appeals Committee. And then the last one that has reached back out to me is Senator Medlin, and she has requested, and she'll be sitting on the Fine Arts and Performance Complex Advisory Committee. So those students will be working closely with the people on those committees. If you want to know anything about those committees, I'm pretty sure you can find them on the university website, and they'll give you everyone who sits on those, especially for those of you guys who I have selected and appointed to those. Again, that means I have 2 others, one for Student Financial Appeals, and then one for Fine Arts and Performance Complex Advisory Committee. So if you guys are interested in that, it's a non-voting position, and you just get to go speak with a lot of professionals on campus, very knowledgeable people you would work with, and you get the chance to represent students, a large group of students, and a very specific task. So if you guys would like to, just let me know, and I'll get back with you on whenever spots are open. So the last one is one that I spoke to Senator Long about, or Senator, golly, my brain is just gone, guys. I'm so sorry. Treasurer Long, however, my opinion on this is that we just had a lot of conversation regarding communications from housing to students and the residents there. And while I cannot have a direct opinion in the matter, I would just say consider that if we are going to discuss it, I think we had a lot of discussion, and I don't want to spend time that we've already been here for a decent amount of time speaking about something we've already had a lot of time to speak about. So does anybody would we like to add to that discussion, or does anybody have anything else to add to new business?
So I just wanted to add on to what Josh said. We were discussing having the new head of housing, the housing director, come in. He's really great. We have a lot of guest speakers coming next week, but maybe the week after, where he would be able to address concerns. So if that's something y'all are interested in, or you would like to have happen or pursue, let us know. And I think that would be a more efficient way of discussing issues with someone that will directly be able to answer them, rather than us just kind of dishing it out, so yeah.
Thank you, Treasurer Long. I think that is, I've reached out to Hendershot. He's the director for Res Life, Scott Hendershot, and hopefully I can hear back with him. Hopefully about getting new students to represent OHAL and Patriot Village, but also maybe come speak about some ways that we can help supplement the work that the residence halls are already doing. So does anybody have anything else to add for new business before we move to advisor comments? All righty, I don't think I see any, so we'll let Professor Astronaut Master Jedi Joshua Needs have the floor.
All right, a few things. And so the first one is, it kind of goes along with what Josh talked about on university committees. If you are selected to be on a university committee, is one of the most important committees that you do not want to miss. And so if student government fails to fill those seats, then I will find students who are not in student government that will be committed to represent the topics that they will be addressing. So as Josh mentioned, it's a great way to network with other faculty and staff on those committees and to help address the topics as it relates to those committees. The next one is, and it kind of goes along the same lines, but you've heard Josh and Hannah talk about UTSAC, the Student Advisory Council. Well, there's an even higher level position, and that is Student Regent. And that is appointed by the governor of Texas. And so applications are now open for UT system student regent. And so if you are interested in being applying, I do encourage you to meet with me to kind of go over the requirements and expectations and to kind of go over the application process. It is kind of lengthy. Then there's a reason behind that, but you do have to be expected to enroll the next academic year. So this is really applicable to freshmen, sophomores, and juniors. Seniors, you can apply if you plan on being a graduate student within the UT system. You can, let's say you're a senior right now, but you're going to go down to the Health Science Center at Houston. You can still apply to be a UT system student regent. And so pretty cool opportunity, once in a lifetime opportunity. And to my knowledge, I don't think we've ever had a student regent from Tyler. And so I think we're long overdue. And I would love to work with the student regent. The other one is the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board. They too also have a position open for students. And so that one's a much bigger opportunity as well, similar to the Board of Regents, but you're really focused on higher education issues within the state of Texas, not just within the UT system. And so two great opportunities. And so if you're interested, the information is on the SGA website, or you can contact me directly. The next thing I wanted to chat about was I really wanted to quickly hear from y'all. I know it's getting close to 8, and I'd like for everybody to be done before 8 because it is getting late. But I wanted to hear from y'all, what are some ways the university can do to help promote students making good choices off campus? I know y'all have asked me a few of those questions, and I know we can't make rules as it applies to off-campus activity, but is there anything that we can do to help promote those decisions? All right, so it sounds like there's no no advice, but if you think of something, we've tried the Be Like Swoop social media campaign. We've done a lot of marketing around campus, but if you think of something that you think will help motivate students, please let me know. I'm often willing to purchase swag, food, whatever it's going to take to help our current situation. We're going to be committed to doing that. And so please let me know. If there's any students that is interested in participating in kind of a video photo shoot, let me know. We're going to be trying to really pump up the Be Like Swoop campaign. I've got a lot of backpacks and hats to give away. And the only way I can do that is if students are posting pictures of them wearing their mask or socially distancing with the Be Like Swoop hashtag. And so, not to give y'all an unfair advantage, but I would encourage all of you to do that right now because this is a good example of us socially distancing. And you can talk about you're promoting your center, your candidacy, or your spot that you're representing. You're promoting student government, and then you're helping showcase to other student groups how you can still be involved, even though we're not in person. And so if you do post, I'll be looking. You can send me an email in case I don't have the right social media platform, but I am checking Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and I've been giving out. Josh was one of our recipients because he's one of the few that actually posted. So I want to be able to have more so I can give away more. So let me know on that as well. And then I think that's kind of it right now. I'm looking at my notes. It's been a long meeting, but I think that it's good for y'all to always hear from, Dr. Tidwell's leadership team. And so it's always great to have Jerry Stuff come present. He really does care a lot about y'all. And I think that's a lot of cabinet is the same way. And so as we continue to find issues or good things to talk about, the cabinet team is going to be more than happy to come talk to y'all. And so just keep up the good work. And if there's any questions, let me know.
Well, we can see who went to Constitution Day. So with that, I wanted to re-announce what Vice President Cooper had brought up earlier. Veteran Affairs needs volunteers on Friday from 9 to 5. You guys could run up there and help them out a couple hours. Then next week, Dr. Colleen Swain will be here to talk about academic success, academic things on that line, advising and stuff like that. I think Ashley Bill should be here as well. And then Blake Bombard will be here as an overview for Title IX and what we can do as students to be better advocates for victims or people who just want to be more educated on it, because there are obviously some discrepancies. Plus, be able to learn about what new changes have come in regards to Title IX throughout the nation. So with that, unless anybody has any other announcements.
I just want to talk to Josh really quick after the meeting is over. That was it.
Me, Josh, or the other Josh?
Oh, I guess other Josh that just left, so it's fine. Never mind.
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
I'll send him an email. It's all good.
That's so sad.
Hey, Josh. Just one thing. Senator Mattern, I know earlier you mentioned in the chat you had something else to add to your report. Did you get to say that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. I guess I didn't hear it. All right, that's fine. Wanted to make sure we didn't log off.
Somebody about it. Sorry.
Okay, wanted to make sure we didn't log off before you got to your finish. So that's it.
So if no one else has anything, I guess I would entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion seconded.
Okay, all those in favor of adjourning the meeting by show of emoji hands saying aye, or anything works.
Aye.
All right. I mean, those opposed, does anyone not want to leave? I still see some thumbs up. All right. Well, you guys have a good evening and afternoon. For those of you guys who have tests coming up, I know our chief of staff has a couple big ones coming up. Good luck. And as for me being a business student, yes. So you guys have a good evening and be well. If you guys need anything, please don't reach out. So